What's up? I don't know how to intro this channel. This is our like second channel, but y'all wanted me to do some paranormal stuff, so I'm going to. I asked my Instagram followers to send me their paranormal experiences, and I'm just going to read them. I have not read them. I'm going to just read them. I have no idea what is in store. I just got done filming for my main channel, and this is weird. I don't know how to intro this channel. I think my camera is trying to focus on my background. I'm sorry if it does that. I don't know what to do about it right now because I don't know what it's trying to focus on. But let's read some creepy shit because it's October and I feel like I've been slacking, guys. I feel like I've been really slacking. Like, I'm sorry. When I was a teenager, I was staying over at the house with someone I knew. I stayed in the basement with my sister. In the middle of the night, as my sister slept, I continued to play my Game Boy Advanced. It was Pokemon and I didn't want to stop. I looked to my right and a few feet away stood a girl with a hat, a flower in it, and brown hair. As she was looking down, I didn't really see much. I looked directly at her and went back to my game. As I woke up a few hours later in the pitch black, it should have been pitch black anyway, I saw a lot of spiraling lights leading to the stairs. My sister mumbled in her sleep about turning on the lights. As I crept up to the stairs, I walked through the bundles of spinning lights. That morning when my sister woke up, she mentioned seeing a strange girl kneeling across the room in her dream. When I described the girl I had seen, my sister's face went pale as we both realized it wasn't either of our imagination. When I was like 6 years old, my dad was terrified of going to the kitchen in the middle of the night. He said he continuously saw a little girl, not me. This is a different person. Passing in front of the TV at 3 a.m. We lived in that house for 16 years, and he always turned on every light when going to the kitchen. Yeah, I would too. So here's my story. So me and my sister share a room, and one night as we were going to bed, my sister closed the door and we went to bed. But in the morning, my sister woke up with a V-shaped scratch on her face and the door was wide open. And my mom said she did not open the door. You got scratched? Or your sister got scratched? Girl, cleanse your house. I've been forced to work overtime in one of my previous companies. And overtime, I mean up to 12 or even 1 a.m. Like I was the only one left in the building. One night when I was all alone, I heard the keyboards of one of my colleagues like someone was typing. It became louder and my head began to hurt. I can't help but call the guard to stay with me until I finished packing up. He asked me while laughing, "Why? Have you seen it too?"
Seen what? Seen what, sir? Seen what?
Here's another one. Around 10 p.m. when I got down to the office lobby, I suddenly had this urge to use the comfort room. So I returned to our floor. Again, aside from the guards, I was the only employee left in the building. When I got to the 5th floor where I was stationed, I turned the lights on. It blinked several times and I was frightened to see a reflection in the glass wall. An image of a man with blood. He's sitting right behind me, staring at me like he's mad. I ran to my cubicle and again I heard strange noises with the keyboard. Then I ran to the stairs quickly. I did not use the elevator as I have strange feelings about it. Yeah, you and me both. The next day I told my colleagues about it. One of the seniors asked me to describe the man I saw. I told her everything including what he was wearing and its color. She was shocked and told me that there was an incident before involving a construction worker who died in an accident while working in the building. The outfit I described is the same as their uniform. Fuck that. Oh, here's another long one. Okay. Hey Sammy, I wanted to send you a paranormal story. I moved to an old family house owned by my grandparents 4 years ago. The house is creepy in itself, but since it's so close to other houses, it loses the creep factor. I kept going between rooms to find which one I resonated with. I finally settled on the middle room as it had a lock on the door. Let me just preface that during this period, I was in a super negative and depressed state. One day, one night while I was home alone watching AHS, American Horror Story, there's a huge closet in the room with mirrors on the door. Suddenly, the lights went off throughout the house and one of the closet doors opened and shut profusely by itself. I ran so fast and fell down some stairs and just laid there. Within the time span, I had reoccurring strange nightmares that I do not remember well anymore. Really weird nightmares, but not your typical ones. Very Andy Warhol weird shit, lol. I had woken up after the first one with bite marks on my shoulder. I'm very skeptical by nature, and I could not think of one logical reason as to why I would have a human bite mark on my shoulder. Like I said, I was in a super bad period of my life and did not care about anything happening to me. The dreams would continue while I was sleeping in there for a while, until one morning I had woken up with the exact same human bite marks on my shoulder. This was so unexplainable. I only lived with my mom and I kept my room locked at night. I told my mom about this the next day and my friends. My mom told me that that was the room that my uncle, who tragically passed years ago, slept in. He was super cheeky, but a funny and sweet person. I knew that this wasn't him. Energetically, I felt that this was a demonic force passing as him to get my trust. I looked up ways to get rid of the demon, and I felt it was super cheap ways. I knew I was the operant power of my life, so I declared for it to fuck off, and I'm not scared. I really wasn't. I had no fucks given at the time. After it had completely stopped, nothing has happened since. Forgot to mention that during that depression, I was so angry at the world, and I was looking into Satanism and dark magic. I had a Baphomet as my phone wallpaper. I don't know what that is. Before this all happened. Moral of the story, don't let your depression take you to evil shit to fix it. Girl. Hey Sammy. I'm originally from Kansas, and I really enjoyed going out and exploring haunted places. One day I went to this old abandoned mental hospital that is now known as Menninger's with my friends. We just wanted to take some photos. We weren't really trying to do any ghost hunting per se. We got into this one building on the campus that used to be where they would cremate the patients who had passed away. Most patients didn't have any family, or if they did have families, they wanted nothing to do with them. I was taking some photos, looking out a window, and suddenly my necklace, which had a metal cross on it, started to burn my skin. The metal was silver, but at this point it had a slight shade of pink like metal does when it's being heated up. I yanked the necklace off since it hurt, and I had a slight scar left over. My friend and I decided to leave immediately. We were driving for about 10 minutes when I decided to review the photos I had taken. All of my photos while we were on the campus land were solid white. Same with my friends. The necklace had cooled down basically by the time we had gotten to the car, and the slight scar I had was now gone. Basically all the proof we had was being on the campus grounds. Basically all of the proof we had of being on the campus grounds was completely gone. Yeah, let's not go there again. I'm not exactly sure if this counts as a paranormal experience, but yeah. I woke up once in the middle of the night from a nap. I was sleeping in another room at the time, and I felt a really weird, like some type of force. And I felt really weird, like some type of force was present. At the moment, I was sweating a lot and I felt too weak to move. I ended up collapsing back on the bed and took a few minutes to attempt to relax myself, but it didn't help. It took me at least 30 minutes to feel fully okay. I'm not sure if I was getting possessed or if something, but the situation was really odd. Yeah, I don't know about possessed, but you are definitely being like, bothered by something, I would think. I love these long ones, guys. This is fun. Basically, I feel like my grandpa's house has spirits because I sense that I'm not alone when I stay there. And I either don't sleep or wake up in the middle of the night randomly. There's this one room in the house that I cannot get in because it causes me bad panic attacks. And I feel like there's some sort of bad energy in there. And last time I went there, I had multiple panic attacks every day for a whole week. One day I was texting a friend of mine and I felt a presence behind me, and 2 hours before that I had heard a loud ringing in my left ear only. I felt like someone was behind me watching my screen. When I turned around, there was nothing, but I keep seeing and hearing weird shit. Anyways, I decided to try to go to sleep, and the second I closed my eyes, I got this vision of a little boy running up to me, and I immediately opened my eyes, and I was so confused because I didn't know who that little boy was and why I got a vision from him or from someone that I never in my life knew, and I decided to ignore it. Back in February, my grandfather passed away, and I had a panic attack. And I had a panic attack one day before he died in a room at my grandma's place. My uncle was paralyzed, so we decided to move him in my grandma's house, in the same room that my grandpa died, so that we could take care of him. One day I wake up from my nap and start panicking for no reason, and also I left my grandma's house because I couldn't deal with the energy there. Like, I really felt like some bad presence was there. But anyways, I get a panic attack, and the next day my uncle dies. Holy shit. The day of the funeral, my mom pulled out old archived pictures of her and my aunt and uncle and when they were younger, and I immediately recognized the boy in the picture. It was the same boy I got in my vision 5 days before he passed. Mind you, I never saw what my uncle looked like as a child, and yeah, I found that really creepy, and since then I can't stay the night at my grandma's house. Also, before my uncle died, I told my mom that I felt bad energy coming from the room my uncle was in. So in conclusion, my uncle and grandpa died in the same bed in the same room. I had a panic attack one day before both of them. I had a vision of my uncle as a little kid a few days before he died, and felt bad spirits around the house. And now every time I get a panic attack, bad stuff happens. Example, a few weeks ago I randomly started panicking on my way to the nail tech, and boom, a car hit our car. So yep, I know this is not my manifestation channel, but girl, you need to revise that shit. Okay, I have one, but it's not terrifying. But it definitely weirded me out. This was a long time ago, but one evening my family was chilling, and my brothers and my dad were glued to their computers. My mom was glued to the TV. I went to use the bathroom. After finishing, there were 3 distinct knocks on the door. I instantly felt so weird, but swung the door open immediately anyway, and well, no one was there. I even peeked around the corner and saw everyone still cozy in their chairs, headsets on, so of course I was kind of scared, only being like 9 years old. At this point in my life, I was on edge anytime something like that happened, because long story short, there was a period of time in my family where bad things happened, and my mother even saw a face with horns in her curtains one night. Oh fuck no. Thankfully, we're all so much better. Nothing has happened in my childhood home after I turned 11, 12, something like that. Oh, and one more. I had a doll that my father bought me when I was a baby from Germany. I have always disliked dolls. Me too. No idea why, but they creep me out. Yeah, me too. I had hung her on my wall because I love anything gifted to me from my parents. However, more than once did I wake up feeling strange, and I always looked towards the doll. I decided to turn her around so that she faced the wall, and 3 days after, I kept walking up to her, being turned back around to face me.
She would be in the burn pit.
I even called out my mom, and she said she nor my brothers had been in my room either time I asked her. Safe to say, I took it down immediately and placed her back into my toy box, which stayed in my closet, out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, I guess if you didn't want to get rid of it because of, you know, your dad giving it to you, but a little bit would have been burned. Okay. My family has a Christmas tree farm in Virginia. That's really fucking cool. And there's a super old cabin there that we sleep in. It was literally built in like the 1700s, and I think there's historical records showing that slaves lived there at some point. And there were hillbillies living there sometime in the 70s as well. It's definitely haunted. There's a super old organ in there, and no one, I mean no one plays it. There's an office underneath the cabin, and when I'm in there and I know for sure no one's in the cabin, I hear footsteps. A lot of times following this, I'll go upstairs and find the cover of the organ open. It's haunted by a friendly spirit. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to be friends. We have a church close to a forest not far from my city, and since a few years back it has a death drawing all over it. And they say everyone who tried to cover it died a couple of weeks after or right on spot. Damn. Anyway, one night my friends and I went there and parked our car right in front of it. As we smoked, we heard a lot of cracking noises from the forest, and in a matter of seconds, 3 deer came running and went the way we got there. We started laughing almost hysterically, like, haha, I almost peed myself for this. And then the car started making weird noises and started driving itself up the hill. Just like something was kind of trying to protect us, as we didn't enter the graveyard of the church yet. To get to the church, you must first walk through the graveyard. Anyway, we started running after the car and got inside of it, and we drive so fast that the pebbles were flying behind my car. I have never gone to that place ever again. Yeah, no. Nope. Once I had this dream in which my father was asking me to hold his hand so that I could pass my energy to him, or else he would have died. In the dream, however, his eyes were red and he looked evil, so I kept saying that I didn't want to, but he insisted by saying that without giving him my hand, he would have died. So I thought, what if this is my real dad? So I hold his hand and I immediately woke up, but I was in sleep paralysis. I could not move my body, but my eyes were open. The scary thing is my hand and arm moved. They moved violently, as if someone was pulling my hand very strongly. Keep in mind, I was awake, but I couldn't move. I tried to scream, but my mouth would not open. I even heard my brother coming upstairs because my door was closed. He didn't see me or anything. But because my door was closed, he didn't see me or anything. So I closed my eyes and tried so hard to move my tongue. And I don't know why, but when I did, I finally managed to get out of the paralysis state and start moving again. I had a panic attack right after, and I couldn't sleep for 2 days for how scared I was that it would happen again. I don't know what happened, to be honest, but I feel honestly like someone was trying to get my energy by pretending to be my dad. It never happened again to this day. This is more than 5 years ago.
Yeah, a demon?
When I was a kid, I heard a noise in my living room in the middle of the night. I got up to check. As I got closer to the room, I heard a woman laughing, but I didn't know who it was because everybody in my house was asleep. When I walked into the living room, I saw my Barbie doll walking around and moving its head on its own as she walked. I was terrified and screamed so loud I woke everyone up. To this day, I hate dolls. I hate that. Did you burn that doll? Please tell me you burned the doll. Or threw it in a river. Oh, that's my worst fucking nightmare right there. Okay, girls, so I have a few, but this one is the one I remember the most, and it brings me chills. I still have chills from that last story. Okay, hold on. I always have sleep paralysis, and it's been a problem since I was a kid. I never saw any figure like a demon type thing that everyone's always talking about. So I always try to make myself wake up, which usually works. One time, and this happened a couple months ago, I was taking a nap and I felt sleep paralysis coming on again. And I was like, okay, let me wake myself up. I was laying on my side and all of a sudden, I felt so damn hard that someone was pushing me through the pillow. I could not resist at all. I was like, what the hell? And when I looked to the side, I was being pushed. All I saw was a huge black cloud. It was so strange. I felt like I was being suffocated. I woke up with a panic attack and I was feeling so cold. It never happened to me again, but I'm sure it was something paranormal since I got sleep paralysis all the time. I have a couple. I always felt my house had something. One experience that really stands out to me was when I was drying my hair and I heard a very slight tapping on the bathroom door. It's a wooden door, so it makes a distinct sound, similar to how my mom would if she wants to get my attention. I opened the door and there's nobody there, and it was not my mom, as she confirmed. Another experience was when I had 3 scratches on my arm and I did not give them to myself, nor do I own any pets. Once I played with a Ouija board.
First mistake.
At a party when I was in 7th grade. I didn't think anything of it, but when I went home that night, I had sleep paralysis for the first time. Of course you did. I started having random panic attacks out of nowhere. I started hearing things like the stairs creaking, and my house isn't even old. I started seeing shadows in my room. My candles would randomly blow out, and when my fan was off and my windows were closed, when my fan was off and my windows were closed. This went on for about 4 months and eventually stopped, but it was pretty traumatic to say the least. Yeah, I fucking bet. Okay, last one. Oh, it's kind of long too. Okay. Oh yes, I have a few, but I will tell you the one that most freaked me out. As a child, I have always been sensitive in terms of spirit and such. Me too. I could always see apparitions. I wasn't necessarily fond of them, so I would always shut my eyes and ears and try to fall asleep, as I always get freaked out. When I was 16 years old, I went to Tenerife with my college as a part of a course as a veterinarian. We went to study the marine animals. We went there to study marine animals. We were staying in a really shabby accommodation provided to us by our charity organization. It was really run down and creepy. During the night, however, during the nights whenever I would try to fall asleep, I could hear crying coming from the kitchen. Mind you that my bed was along the corridor towards the kitchen, so it was really close and I could hear very clearly. The days went by, and every day I kept hearing the same crying. Then I asked my classmates if they could hear the crying too. None of them did, apart from one girl. She was stunned on how she thought she was the only one who could hear it. On one of the last days there, everyone decided to try out the clubs there, and since I was the youngest and underage, I could not go. The other girl didn't like clubs, so she stayed with me, which was the perfect opportunity to do some ghost hunting. When we started to hear the crying again, we would run to the kitchen to find nothing, which the noise completely stopped. We tried to take pictures, but we couldn't get anything concrete. When we decided to call it a night and go to bed, which was the time everyone also returned, totally wasted from the club. After an hour, everyone was deep asleep. The crying from the kitchen started again, but this time it was louder than before, and it kept getting louder and louder. I then realized that not only was it getting louder, it was getting closer. I heard its footsteps closer and closer until I could feel a cold air in my face. I shut my eyes closed. It was standing right on my face. I have fucking chills. It got quiet for a bit and then gave the loudest scream ever, and I passed out. I swear to you, this is a real story. I'm not sure. I believe it could be the infamous La Llorona, but I'm not sure. But it freaked me the hell out. Thank you for the time to read thank you for taking the time to read my long story. I love you. I love you too. Holy shit, that gave me chills. But I'm running out of memory on my camera, so I need to close this out. And I just dropped my phone. Thank you for watching. I don't know how to end this video either, because this is not my main channel. Thanks for watching. I hope that this scared the shit out of you like it did me, and I hope that you get chills and your leg hairs grow like mine just did. Alright, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, turn on your notifications, and see what we post next.